Hey, what's up guys, Kevin here. In this video, me and TJ, we're gonna talk to you guys about our favorite do-it-all snowboard. I think between the two of us, we ride a lot of different snowboards throughout the season, had the chance to ride some great powder boards, some great park boards, and some great boards that kind of do a bit of everything. So starting off, TJ, why don't you tell us what's your definition of a do-it-all snowboard?
For me personally, when I think of do-it-all, I'm thinking all mountain freestyle. I want a board that I can do steep alpine, I can ride fast with, I can take it in the trees, but I'm not making a compromise in the park. I want it to be fun all over the park, big jumps, rails. That's kind of what I would look for in it. And then I guess the compromise with that would be in powder, setting the stance back, maybe just putting in a little bit of extra work on those powder days, but really killing it in the other conditions.
Yeah, exactly. And for me, the do-it-all board is kind of like what TJ was saying, something that you can take into the park, something that you can ride groomers with, but then we'll also do a decent job the rest of the mountain. So that all mountain, riding on steep, ungroomed terrain through the trees, but also could survive in powder. So whether you need to set the stance back a little bit, just that board that can handle a bit of everything. But starting off, let's talk about two boards each that we think are not great do-it-all boards. For myself, the first one is the Libtech Orca. I love this snowboard for powder. It's got a taper, it's got that fat shape, and in the powder, it's amazing. It floats like a dream, and it also carves very well on the groomers. But this is a board I would never take into the park. It's just not the right shape for me. It's not twin, it's directional, and that taper too, it would not ride well switch. So that's one board for me that I think is too specific. It's very powder specific. Do you have a powder board like that?
Yeah, so for me, I think I would call out the Battalion Party Wave. And I think, that board, it's super wide and it has a very large side cut radius, and it's also very directional. So it's basically going to be a really fun, free ride kind of powder board. It's, going to be fun carving at high speeds. It's going to float well. You can really lay over turns with that width, but it's not going to be, like with the Orca as well, it's not going to be a great park board. So that would be the compromise for that really solid carving performance, having that width, having that side cut, really good float and powder, but not great for butters, not great for park and that type of riding.
Definitely. And then on the other end of the board spectrum, there's the park boards. So my park board this year is the GNU Headspace, and it's a very park specific board. I had a great time riding it in New Zealand, and the twin shape along with the magnet traction, the ASIM, and the kind of balanced stiff to soft feel of it, that mid flex, all go towards making it an amazing park board. And I think that more dominant camber profile of the Headspace will make it hard to ride through powder as well. I would have to really get onto my back foot and struggle to keep the nose up out of the snow. Do you have a park board equivalent that's maybe too park specific?
Yeah, I think the Capita Outer Space Living is one that I would shout out. It's a pretty fun park board, and I think the biggest thing with this board is that it's a true twin and it has a really, really soft flex. It's super fun if you're trying to press it out. It's fun on rails, and actually with the rocker and the soft flex, I think it does okay in powder for a true twin. But if you're trying to do more aggressive riding, more all mountain, you're starting to ride at higher speeds, really going really fast down some groomers, or you're hitting that more choppy variable terrain or hitting big jumps, it's going to be too flimsy. And I think for those types of situations, it's just going to have kind of a sketchy feel to it. So that would be the compromise with the Outer Space Living, I think.
Now for a few boards that we each think would be amazing as do-it-all boards. And I think just from our own experience of actually riding these boards ourselves, last year I had the GNU Space Case, and this board I actually bought specifically for park riding, but I also got to try it all mountain and in powder in Jackson Hole. And I was really surprised at how well it was able to ride the rest of the mountain. And I think that's because on the Space Case, it has GNU's C2X profile. So it's got the camber zones under the feet, but there's also a lot of rocker in between the feet. So that rocker actually made it float pretty well in powder. I was able to keep the nose up really well, and I did have to set the stance back a little bit, but overall I had a great time riding it through powder. It wasn't too much of a struggle. And added on top of that, the magnet traction made it feel very stable and actually held a great edge, like just riding in firm snow across any sketchy steep stuff. So overall, riding it all mountain and in the park, I had an awesome experience. And unfortunately, they're not making the GNU Space Case with the same name. They changed it to the GNU Finest, but I think it's one of those boards that's kind of like a hidden gem as a do-it-all snowboard. TJ, do you have a board like that?
Yeah, I think the board I want to highlight is the Ride Twin Pig. So I actually first rode this board out on Mount Hood and really felt it out as a freestyle board. It's an asymmetrical twin, had a lot of fun for park riding, and it's also a volume shifted board. So, you know, you get the benefit of being able to size down, and it's got that wider width. So that combo of freestyle performance and being able to carve really well with it, I thought was really cool. And I kind of wrote it off in the powder, but I enjoyed it so much. I picked it up last year and actually took it to Chile on the recent trip in August. And I actually got to try it out in some deep powder, and it really surprised me with the powder performance. So I think the combination of the profile, it has that camber rocker going on, a more mid flex, as well as a longer nose and tail outside the contact points, really work together to do surprisingly well in the powder. I'd put it in like the powder twin category. That whole combination gives you a board that's really fun in the park. It's fun for all mountain and good for carving, and it's still gonna do decently in the powder as well. So yeah, the Ride Twin Pig is pretty rad for a do-it-all style board.
So guys, if you're looking for a single board that can do everything, there's a couple ideas. You can definitely find other snowboards out there that have similar characteristics and tech, so take a look around. But if you're looking for one do-it-all snowboard, it can be tough to find. You do have to make some sacrifices. But if you're looking for two boards, I recommend that as well. Me and TJ, we both have a few boards each in our quiver. That way, if it's a POW day here in Whistler, we can take that. And then when it comes time to ride like Slushy Park, or if we're riding in the spring or summertime, having that park board is like super valuable as well. If you guys have any questions, definitely leave them for us down in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. We'll also put links to these boards down in the description. Have fun out there, guys, snowboarding, and we'll see you in the next one soon.
Later, guys.